I still remember the coldness of the courtroom that day, a place where hope and despair seemed to dance on a knife's edge. I was there to support my brother Drew, a skinny guy who looked like he was carrying the weight of the world on his tired shoulders. And honestly, it was hard to see him like that. He had been unjustly charged with robbery, and we both knew why. It was because he was in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time because he was a black man walking while black, as they say. And that was the real crime in the eyes of those who judged him. As I sat there listening to the murmur of the courtroom, I could see the officer on the stand, Officer Colton, confident, aloof, and with that arrogant smirk plastered on his face like he owned the place. He embodied everything that was wrong with the system, a man who had the power to tear lives apart with a single word and seemed to enjoy it. How could he stand there dismissing Drew's story like it was nothing? My blood boiled just watching him. You know, people underestimate you. They see only what's on the surface. They think they know you, but they really don't. I might have looked like just another spectator, but I had some serious training behind me. I was a Navy SEAL Team 4. I had fought through more than most people could imagine just to prove my own worth and that of those around me. And now standing up for my brother felt like the biggest challenge yet. I made a decision, then I wouldn't let Drew be pushed around. Not on my watch. When it was finally my turn to speak, I took a deep breath and introduced myself. Standing tall and proud, I'm Layla Harper, Navy SEAL Team 4. You could feel the power shift in the room. The snickers of disbelief morphed into heavy silence as I locked eyes with Officer Colton. I called out the truth, laying out the evidence that supported Drew's alibi, urging the prosecutor to listen closely. I wanted them to know this wasn't just some petty crime. This was about dignity and justice. With each word, I watched the prosecutor's confidence falter. Maybe they hadn't expected this nobody to have the audacity to stand up. But then just when I thought we might have a chance, it happened. Colton unprovoked jabs his elbow into my side like a dog marking its territory, and I would have been angry, but I drew on my training instead. Instead of recoiling, I turned my gaze directly at him, calm and collected. I called him out right there in front of everyone, saying, "Is that how you expect to keep order, an officer, by intimidation?" The air crackled with tension and the courtroom felt like it could explode at any second. Oh boy, I wasn't backing down. Not now, not ever. People gasped. The judge called for order. I insisted on Colton's removal right there, right then. I was shaking with adrenaline, but I didn't care. It was a spectacle unlike anything I'd seen. This wasn't just about Drew anymore. It was about all of us. This was bigger than one case. It was an uprising against the injustice that too many people face daily. After that moment, the room's energy drastically shifted. I took my seat, heart racing, but I was motivated. I knew I couldn't just walk away. I had to dig deeper. I spent countless nights researching, uncovering documents and evidence that had been buried, feeding information to a sharp journalist named Nia, who had the same fire in her belly. We knew we had to shine a light on this shadowy corner of the justice system. We had to show what really happened that night and raise awareness about the biases lurking around every corner. Before long, footage from that day made it to online platforms. A whole community rallied behind Drew. Everyone was sharing it, retweeting it, and suddenly people were invested. Officer Colton was put on leave, not exactly a hero's downfall, but it was a start, however superficial. But as things began to change, threats began to swirl around me too. One night, a couple of men decided to show up at my door, intimidating and aggressive, clearly trying to silence me. Little did they know I wasn't someone to back down. I used everything I had learned in training, defending myself with precision and determination. The encounter turned physical, but I stood my ground and showed them what it really meant to tangle with a SEAL. They practically fled the scene, and I stood there, heart racing, pride swelling. The days blurred together until finally we got the news like a candle lighting up a dark room. All charges against Drew were dropped. But there was no formal apology, no acknowledgement of the pain inflicted. I was relieved for him, but it was bittersweet, a reminder that my brother's experience was just one example of a much larger systemic issue. It feels satisfying to achieve a win, but it's clear the battle's not over. Drew might have walked free, but we had uncovered a monster hiding in plain sight. Every time I think of that courtroom, I remember what drove me. This was about battling against bias for anyone who felt unseen or unheard. We've all been there, right? feeling the weight of the world pushing down those moments when you just want to scream to shout that you matter. So I want to open this up to you. Have you ever faced injustice? Have you stood up when no one else would? I want to hear your stories. Let's talk about right versus wrong, social bias about justice, not just in the courts, but everywhere. If you've liked this story and want to follow my journey and others just like Drew's, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation down below. It's time we started standing together. You matter, your voice matters. Let's make sure they hear us.